Is it possible to implement ABC, so that's our augmented bonding curve, after the token is launched? And if yes, what are the implications? So I don't know if Griff wants this or Zargam.
I can take it unless Z wants it.
Sure. I'll start and say this depends quite a bit on your software architecture decisions, your implementation decisions. So in principle, as long as you have contracts that are upgradable or otherwise you have what you need to make changes, there's nothing that would stop you from doing that. But I think that it does actually depend a lot on what you released originally, because the equipment that comes with the ABC, it manages the supply of the token. And so if you don't have the ability to do that, then it won't be necessarily compatible with the original logics. Griff, you have sort of further comments. I tend to answer sort of, we'll say mathematically, it's possible, but in terms of implementation details, especially considering what you released initially, it could be very hard.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, and not only technically but socially, to start issuing new currency, because that's what the augmented bonding curve allows you to do. I won't define the augmented bonding curve, but we have a lot of articles about it if you guys want to read and understand exactly what that is. But in summary, as far as it relates to this question, when you have a bonding curve, there's no supply limit. So like, for instance, Bitcoin, they have a social agreement around 21 million. It's not going to work. You can't just start a bonding curve and have it connected to Bitcoin. But maybe, for instance, Ether, maybe there could be a bonding curve related to it. It would have to be, or maybe let's say an Aragon token. Aragon actually did it. They had the ANT token and they converted it to, you can use the ANT token and convert it to ANJ, which is a bonding curve token in a way. And so there's different ways that you can play with the bonding curve and make it a part of your protocol. But the implications are that you're going to have a second market for your curve, for your bonding, or for your token. So there's going to be arbitrage opportunities between wherever your token's being traded now and that bonding curve. And it's going to be really complex. And what I would say is I don't necessarily think that the augmented bonding curve or any bonding curve is ready to just be like another piece of some other system, at least not one that's important.
Maybe the better way to think about it is that the bonding curve establishes a relationship between two tokens. In a way, it creates a bond between the supply of a token and, say, a reserve of a reserve token, whether it's Ethereum or DAI or whatever. That creating that relationship creates a web, and that has extra effects. And so it's not as simple as saying plugging in the bonding curve and getting the properties of the bonding curve. What you're really getting is the properties of the bonding curve combined with the properties of the things you connected with, and new properties that come from the combining itself. And actually, I think that's the real heart of why crypto economics is challenging, is because it's not about the parts. It's actually often about the relationships between the parts. And we want to be really rigorous and careful about how we combine things. But ultimately, there's also this real need to better understand what people want and need. And I'm going to kind of end this thread on the ABC by kind of pointing it back at the sort of social level of these systems and say you wouldn't add the bonding curve unless the people using the system needed the properties that adding the bonding curve would give the new system once you added it.